Hello everyone. So in this session we will discuss problem number 34 related to projection of solids. So the question is, a square pyramid 35 mm sides of base and 60 mm axis length rest on HP on one of its slant triangular faces. So draw the projections of the pyramid when the axis is inclined to VP at an angle of 45 degrees. So that is the question that they have given. So the type of solid is a pyramid. So if I say a pyramid is a type of a solid. So it is a three-dimensional object which will be having only the base and it will not be having the top face. So and all the lateral faces, so it is made up of a triangle, and all those triangular faces will meet at a common point called as the apex point. So if you consider the lateral faces, all the triangular faces, all the lateral faces which are there in the form of a triangle, so they'll get inclined, so it forms a slant triangular face. So since it is inclined, so I call it as slant triangular face, and they meet at a common point called as apex. So and what type of pyramid it is? So it is a square pyramid that they have given here. So it means that the base of the pyramid is a square. So what is the size of the base? So base is 35 mm. The size of the square is 35 mm, and the height he has given. Height is nothing but the axis length of the pyramid, that is 60 mm. So now let us start doing the problem. First we will solve the problem in the three position method. The first position will be your normal position, so where you are going to identify the resting plane and how it is resting on that particular plane. So if you just go through this question, in the question he is telling that the pyramid is resting on HP, so the resting plane is HP. That is what I have written it here, and how it is resting on HP, that we need to identify. So if you just go through the question, he is not telling directly that, so whether it is resting on one of its corners or sides. So, okay, that are the two possibilities what we are having. So if I consider a pyramid, either it must be the side resting or it must be a corner resting. So he has not mentioned anything clearly here. So when he has not mentioned the direct position where how it is resting, we have to go for the second position condition. So second position condition, we have to take it with respect to HP, because so we know that the pyramid is resting on HP. If the pyramid is resting on HP in the first position, next position we should take the condition with respect to the same HP itself. So what is the condition with respect to HP? So it is resting on HP on one of its slant triangular faces. So it is telling us that, so when you go to the second position, you rotate the pyramid in such a way that the entire slant triangular face rests completely on your HP. Okay, that is the question. So if it is slant triangular face, so whether it is a side resting problem or corner resting problem, so that we have to understand. So if I need a face, so if I say a face will be all your slant triangular faces, they are made up of three corners. If I need three corners, I need to take the pyramid on one of its sides, so not the corner. So let me show that. So I'll consider this pyramid. So this is the pyramid what I'm having, the square pyramid. The base is made up of a square. So and I am placing this pyramid on HP. So if I place it on HP, what happens? So I can place this pyramid on HP on two positions. One is the side resting one, and the other one is corner resting. So what are the resting position that is there? So that I should take it towards my right hand side. Now in this case, since the side is there towards my right hand side and this side is perpendicular to VP, I say this pyramid is resting on one of its edges according to our condition. So the other way is I can rotate the object like this, and I say that it is resting on one of its corners, because corner is coming towards your right side. So these are the two possibilities. Which among these two is right? So according to the given question condition, so that is I need after rotation of this pyramid, I need to place this pyramid completely on HP on one of its slant triangular faces. These are the slant triangular faces. So what I'll do is, so I'll take the pyramid on the corners first, and let me rotate the pyramid, and let us see how it is going to rest, how it is going to fall on HP. So if I rotate, so I have taken it on one of its corners. If I rotate this pyramid, so in the second position, since the angle inclination is not given, he is telling us to rotate the pyramid completely. So if I make it to rest completely on HP, you can observe that it is resting only on its edge, not on the slant triangular face. So hence this condition fails. So what is that condition? The corner resting condition fails. So what I should do now, I should take the pyramid on one of its on one of its edges. So if I take the pyramid on one of its edges, in the second position, what we need to do, we need to rotate this pyramid completely. If I rotate this pyramid completely, what happens? So it is resting completely on HP on one of its slant triangular faces. So this is the face. So this is the face which is made up of 3 corners. Okay. So after rotation, it is completely resting on HP on one of its slant triangular face. So now, what are the position that we have taken? So I can say that is the right position. What is that position? The pyramid is resting on one of its sides. So this is how we have to identify. So now let us take the front and top views. So we know that in the front it looks like a triangle. How many slant edges are visible? Only 2 slant edges are visible, and this front edge of the base is visible to you. So in the front view it looks like a triangle. What about its top view? So top view, it looks like a square. So along with this base edges of the square, all the 4 edges are visible. Along those 4 edges, all these slant edges which are starting from each and every corner of the base, that are also visible to you. So that is about your normal position. So that is what I have written here. So coming back to this. So top view is a square with all the slant edges are visible, and front view is a triangle. It looks like a triangle. So and 2 slant edges are visible. And what about the axis line? Axis line is visible to you. So let us see that in the while doing the construction. So now let us kick off with the construction part. So I have taken the grid sheet here. So in this grid sheet, so I have taken the XY line as my reference line, and with respect to this XY line, I need to take the planes of projection. So that is vertical plane lies above the XY line and horizontal plane lies below the XY line, because I am doing it in the first angle projection. So after doing this much, what we need to do is, so I'll consider one reference point on this XY line, and I'll take the vertical line with respect to that particular point, that is 90-degree line. So this grid acts as my reference line. So on this vertical line, what I'll do is, so I'll take any one reference point with respect to this point. So what I'll do is, I'll measure 35 mm. So take the scale and you measure 35 mm. So if you measure the 35 mm, you'll get the second end point of your square. Okay, we have to draw the square with side resting. I need to obtain side towards my right hand side. So now with respect to these 2 corners, what I need to do is, I need to take 90 degrees. So place your protractor. So since you are having the grid lines, so I can take directly that I can consider the horizontal lines. So here it is 5 mm. So I need to take a point. So that is 90-degree point. So with respect to these 2 points, 90-degree points, what I'll do is, I'll take a thin lines. Okay. Again from this point, I'll take thin lines, very, very thin lines. Now, so after doing this much, so we know that the size of the square is 35 mm. If I say square, all sides will be same. So all the 4 sides has to be same, that is equals to 35 mm. So measure 35 mm along that horizontal line and you mark a point. So you'll get the third corner of the square. Otherwise, you can make use of the compass in order to obtain the corners of the square. So this is the 4th corner. I'll take 35 mm. So now after obtaining the 4 corners, you join all of them with the help of dark lines, because in the top view, so this is the top view that we are drawing. In the top view, all the 4 base edges of the square are visible to you. So once after getting this base edges of the square pyramid, so I need to obtain the slant edges. I can see all the slant edges. What are the slant edges? So slant edges are the lines or the edges that is starting from each and every corner of the base, and it will meet at the common point called as apex. Apex is one of the point of that axis line. So we know that axis line pass exactly to through the center of the cross section. So since we are having a square which is 4-sided object, so I need to draw the diagonals for this. So if I draw the 2 diagonals, I'll get the intersection point. So this is one diagonal. So I am drawing thin lines first. So and this is my another diagonal. If I try to join the slant edges again from the same corner, so it looks like this. Again from this corner, this is one slant edge. So likewise, you'll be having 4 slant edges. So if I join all the 4 slant edges, it looks like that. So your diagonals itself is dark. So this is what we are having it as a square pyramid that we have drawn it in the top view. So let me draw the dimensions for this. Take the extension lines, and with respect to that extension line perpendicular to that, you take dimension line and put the terminators. So mark the dimension as 35 mm. Now let us go with the namings. So all the base corners are visible to you. I call this point as A. So B, C and D. Because this is the pyramid, only base corners will be there. And since it is top view, I have not put dashes. So what about this axis line? So apex will be the topmost point that will be visible. And this is O1 is the base axis point that is not visible to you from the top. So now let us go. This completes the top view in the first position. So let me take the front view and let me draw the front view of this. So let me take the projections and let us complete the front view. So I'll take the projections from this center point also, center point of cross section. So once after taking the projections, so we know that the axis length, the height of the pyramid, he has given it as 60 mm. He has given it as 60 mm. So what I should do? We know that axis will be perpendicular to the base. So where do we get the base? The base falls on the XY line because it is resting on HP. If the object rests on HP, we will get its front view on the XY line, right? So this is what we will get. So now I should take from this point, you'll get the axis exactly from the center. So what is the height of the pyramid? We know that it is 60 mm. So at a distance of 60 mm, I'll mark one point. So this is the point of the apex. So now we know that the front view, it looks like a triangle. So let me draw the boundaries. So this is one edge of the triangle and this is the another edge. Okay. So now let us do the namings before drawing the axis. So this is, we are having two corners here, B and A is near to the XY line. So we place that A inside the bracket, B dash of A dash. So here I'll get it as C dash of D dash. So now coming to this topmost point is apex, that I call it as O1, sorry, O dash, and base is O1. So since it is my front view, so that I should put it in the with the dash, and you represent that inside the bracket because that point is lying inside the solid. So now whether I should draw this line as axis line or continuous line. So how to identify that is, so we are having the center of the cross section here. So if you have any base corner exactly below this center point of the cross section, so this line should be drawn as continuous line. So since I don't have any corner of the base here, so that remains as axis line itself, because if I see it from the front and if you assume that pyramid is made up of glass, so this axis line, that is thin chain line, that is visible to you. Okay, so hence this portion, this line must be drawn as axis itself. Axis line should be drawn as thin chain line. So this is what we are having in the first position. What is the axis length? So I have taken it as 60 mm. So take the extension lines. So with respect to that extension line, you take dimensions and you write this as 60. So this completes the first position. The second position, what it says is, so we have to rotate the triangle such that, so this entire triangular face, so face is made up of three corners I said. So if you consider the base corner, so we are having 2 points, that is B as well as A. Both the corners of the base are there, and we are having the apex. So this I call it as slant triangular face. This is my slant triangular face. Okay, because we are having totally 3 corners, that is the slant triangle. So now coming to the second position, so we have to take the condition with respect to HP. Why do we take condition with respect to HP is, so we have placed the solid on HP, so in the first position, hence we need to take the condition with respect to HP. So what it is telling, it is resting on one of its slant triangular face. So it is wrong here, so that should become the slant triangular face. So this is my triangular face. So for that what we have to do is, so what are the condition with respect to HP that is there, so that we can see it in VP. So now what I should do, I should redraw this front view figure. So I have to tilt this triangle in such a way that this slant triangular face should come on the XY line. So in such a way we have to tilt this pyramid. So earlier cases we used to give the angle of inclination with respect to the axis and HP. So here angle is not given, instead of that he is telling that slant triangular face is completely resting on HP. So now let us redraw that. So what I should do for that is, so I came to know that with respect to the given condition, I need to place this slant triangular face on HP. So this is my resting position, so that acts as my reference. So this is my reference point. I'll consider any one point on the x line. I have taken this point here, and that will be your resting side, so that is b dash of a dash. So with respect to that point, I have taken this distance from b dash of a dash to o dash, that is apex point. You place your compass here and you cut an arc on the x line. So I need to obtain that apex point also on the x line. So once after getting that, I call this point as o dash point, that is your apex point. So I need to obtain the another boundary corner, that is c dash of d dash. How to obtain? We are having two corners of the triangle, so I can obtain the third corner easily. So with the same distance o dash to c dash of d dash, I have taken from o dash, place at o dash, and you cut an arc like this. Okay, now I should take the base dimension, base edge, that will be equals to 35 mm. So place at the resting position, that is b dash of a dash, and you cut an arc and see where those two arcs will intersect. So this is the intersection point I will get. So that point is c dash of d dash point. So, and one more thing that is remaining is this base of the axis, base point of the axis. So take the distance from b dash of a dash to o dash and you cut an arc. Okay, so now what I should do is I should draw the lines as it is, as we are having in the first position. First I need to draw the triangle. So on the x line, so this line should become your thick continuous line, and finally the other edge of the triangle, and the axis remains as axis itself. So you'll get the intersection point here. So you draw it as axis. Axis should be drawn as thin chain line. So this is about your front view. So let us obtain the top view. How to obtain the top view? We have to take the horizontal projections first. Take the horizontal projections. So once after taking the horizontal projections, so I need to take the vertical projections also. So this is the projection line that I am taking, and vertical projections we will get it here. So small variation is there. Take the projections like this, and from this axis point and from the apex point. So we have got the projections. Now let us do the namings. So this point is O, and I'll coming to this. So this is A and A dash is here. So hence I'll get the point A here. So this will be B, C and D. Along with that I am having the base of the axis. So that is O1. So once after doing the namings, what we need to do is, so we need to draw all the boundary lines as thick continuous lines. So for that, let me consider the naming chart here. So since it is a square pyramid, I have taken this. The 4 base corners, from each corner you must have 3 lines. So I will place the scale between A to B, and I will check whether this line will be coming as boundary line or not. How to check that is, so we know that A to B we are having a bond between A to B. So hence I can place the scale between A to B, and if I get all the remaining corners on the same side of the scale, so that forms a boundary line. So boundary line should be drawn as thick continuous line. So next boundary line is B to C and C to O. So this is also my boundary line, C to O, because I am getting all the remaining corners on the same side of the scale. And next boundary line is D to O. If I join all the boundary lines, it forms a closed loop finally. So it is forming a closed loop like this. Okay. So now after drawing all the boundary lines as thick continuous line, so I have see this object and I have seen it from the top. So if I see the object from the top, the 2 nearest corners, I should not consider the apex point. I should consider only the base corners. So the base corners near to the x line is B dash of A dash. So I'll place them inside the brackets. Okay. So now from point A and point B, so these are the 2 hidden corners, so A and B. From each corner you must have 3 lines. So which are those lines that are starting from A, AD, AO and AB. So if you observe this, already you are having AD as per the boundary line and AB as the boundary line. Only one line that is missing now, so A to O. So that missing line you must draw it as dotted line. So A to O was missing, so you draw this missing line, that is slant edge from point A, that should be drawn as dotted. So that edge is not visible to you because that forms the triangular face. So base edges are not visible. So next is the hidden corner is point B. Again from point B you must have 3 lines that we know because solids are 3-dimensional objects, B to C, B to A and B to O. So if you consider this point B, already 2 lines are there. So they are the boundary lines. The third edge that is missing, so the missing edge you must draw it as the dotted lines. So this is the dotted lines. So that hidden lines should be drawn as thick dashes line. Okay, after doing this much, so we have to check each and every corner for 3 lines, so that you should not forget. So if you consider point C, so I am having 2 edges, that is CO and CB. Which is the line that is missing? CD. Again from point D 2 lines, CD was missing. So what type of line I need to draw? So whether I should draw it as continuous line or hidden line, I must draw it as continuous line because C and D are not hidden corners. So this should become a continuous line. So finally the axis will remain as axis itself. So this completes the second position. The condition with respect to HP is over now. So now let us go to the question. So what he is telling? So he is telling us that third position you have to take the condition with respect to VP. What is the condition with respect to VP? So he has given that so the axis is inclined to VP at an angle of 45 degrees. In this question he is just telling the axis. So if he just says the axis, so he is talking about the true axis. Where do we get the true axis in case of in this figure? So we will get it in the first position. You can observe. So this is the actual axis, and whatever the axis length that you get in the second position, this is your appearing axis or the apparent axis. So this is my appearing axis. So this is your appearing axis and this is your true axis. Okay, and he is talking about this particular axis actually, but so in the third position always we will redraw the second position top view figure. This figure we have to redraw because this is the appearing image that we will get. If I rotate the solid, what happens? Automatically this shadow will also get rotated. So first and foremost thing, first of all we'll take that angle of inclination. He has given it as 45 degrees. So I have taken that line already. So I have marked it as 45 degrees. So on this line, so what we need to place? We need to place the actual axis length, that is this axis length. Okay. So if you observe the distance from first position to the second position, we will be having the variation in the length from first position to the second position. Since the length variation is there from first position to the second position, so we will get it as a beta angle here. Okay. So that is what I have written here. So axis length varies from first position to the second position. So hence it is the given problem is beta angle problem. We have to obtain that what is the beta angle. So let us do that now. Okay. So first and foremost thing what I'll do is, so let me draw this 45 degree line properly. So I'll draw this 45 degree line. So once after drawing that 45 degree line, so since he is talking about the actual axis length, that is true axis, I'll take the distance. So okay, so once after doing that, I'll pick any one point on this 45 degree line and I'll cut the arc. So take it properly and I'll cut my arc. So here I'll get the point. Okay, with respect to this, there is nothing to do with this axis. Actually I need this apparent axis. So how to obtain this apparent axis length now? By making use of the actual axis. So with respect to this arc, what I need to do is, I need to draw the locus line parallel to your xy line. I need to draw one locus line. So draw the locus line now. Okay, once after drawing the locus line, what we need to do is, so I need the second position axis length. Take the distance from this apparent axis. So O to O1. So with the help of same reference point, you cut an arc. So where it intersects, so that point will be your O1 point. So this is your O1 point and this reference point will be your apex point. So in case of pyramid, always try to place the apex nearer to the xy line. So in order to make our procedure easier, in order to solve the problem easy. Okay. So now I have got O and O1 point. So I can obtain the remaining corners now. So before that, I'll draw this new line. So that line we call it as beta angle line. So you draw a line in such a way that the line has to pass through this O1 point and O point and it should touch your xy line. So on this new line, that is beta angle line, we have to redraw this figure. So how to obtain that? So we have to consider this axis line we are having. So here it is parallel to VP. So there in the third position it is inclined. So if I consider this, so what I'll do is, so I need this AB and CD points. So AB is there on the same line and CD is there on the same line. So how these lines are there with respect to this axis? They are perpendicular. So the points where these vertical lines intersects, I will give the namings as 1 and this point as 2. So let me obtain this points 1 and 2 which is lying on this, so in between that axis line. So let me take the distance now. Take the distance from O to 2. So place at 2 and if cut one arc on the beta angle line. So you'll get point 2 first. Next is O to 1. Take the distance from O to 1, place at O and if cut an arc. So you'll get points 1 and 2 now. So with respect to this point 1 and 2, I need to draw 90-degree lines. So take your protractor, place your protractor on this beta angle line and you mark the angle. So you mark the angle as 90 degrees. So I'll get one point here. And with respect to point 2 also I need to draw one more perpendicular line. So I'll get that point here. So with respect to these 2 points, what I'll do is I'll draw a thin lines. So thin perpendicular lines passing through this point 1 and this 90-degree point. So likewise you need to draw one more 90-degree line passing through that 90-degree point as well as 2. So on these 2 perpendicular lines I need to obtain the distance from 1 to A. I'll get all the remaining corners. The sizes will be same from 1 to B also because it is a square. You place at 1 and you cut the arc. You cut the arc on either sides. Okay, so from point 2 also you cut the arc. So you cut thin arcs. So you'll get the point of intersections. So one corner you will get it as A. So I'll place that inside the bracket because it is my hidden. So next is B. This point will be C and this point will be D. So now I'll join as it is, as we have done in case of second position. So first I'll draw all the boundary lines as thick continuous lines. So this is visible. So A to D is my boundary. Next D to O is also my boundary. So next finally O to C and C to B. And the dotted lines are this BO slant edge that is not visible to you. That should be drawn as dotted line. And A to O is the another slant edge, so that is also not visible. You draw it as dotted line. So and this CD, that should be drawn as thick continuous line. So this should be drawn as thick continuous line. And finally the axis line, you draw it as axis. So that should be drawn as thin chain line. Since it is thin line, so it is not appearing clearly. So this completes the third position top view. So the final step is remaining, that is front view. How to take the front view now, how to obtain that? So we need to take the projections vertically as well as horizontally. So first let me take the projections horizontally because I'll get only 2 lines. So I have to take exact horizontal lines like this. And from this axis point also I'll take the projections. So let me take the projection horizontally. So if I take the projection from this B of A, that will be coming on the XY line itself. So these are the horizontal projection lines. And let me take the vertical now, vertical projections from each and every corner. So I'll take it accordingly. It means that, so from A to A dash, the intersection of A to A dash point will give you A dash point in the last step. So this is A dash. Next is B. So these lines has to be thin lines, these projection lines. So this is thin line, this is B dash. Next we are having C dash. So C2, C dash is here. So you take vertical projections, you'll get point C dash. So finally D, from D to D dash is there again the topmost line, you'll get the point here. So this point is D dash. So apex point, it is lying on the XY line itself. You take the projection, so I'll get the point here, O dash. So once after obtaining all these edges, all these corners, so I'll draw all the boundary lines as thick continuous line. First boundary line is A dash to B dash. Next is B dash to O dash. So next O dash to C dash is my boundary because I'm getting all the remaining corners on the same side of the scale. So this we have discussed in the other problems also. So if I join all the boundary edges, so it forms a closed loop for me. So this is what we will get. So once after forming the closed loop, what we should do is, so we have to see the top view figure now. For the top view, in this top view figure, for the observer who will be standing away from the x line, this base is completely visible to the observer and apex point is not visible. Since this base is visible, I have to join them with the help of dark lines. What is the base? We are having it as a square ABCD. So those ABCD corners, we have to join them with the help of dark lines. So already 3 edges has been drawn. So one edge that was missing is C to B, that is drawn with the help of dark line. So after doing this much, what we have to do is, so we have to check each and every corner for 3 edges. I need to identify the hidden edges now. How to obtain that? So place your scale on the x line. You roll the scale slowly downwards and see which slant edge will appear first. So which is that slant edge? O to D. If I draw a line from O to D, that is coming inside the boundary, so that should be drawn as dotted line. So I'll draw this as dotted. So this is my hidden line. So next, you roll the scales again from the x line, you roll the scale slowly downwards. O to D is done. So we have to check 3 nearest slant edges. So next nearest slant edge is O to A. So you can observe here already O to A is there on the boundary. So that will not become my hidden edge. So next nearest slant edge is O to C. O to C is also already it is there on the boundary. So that will also not become the boundary edge. Okay. So now I have to check each and every corner for 3 lines. So if you check all the corners, we are having it as all the 3 lines are there from all the base corners. So only line that is missing is your axis line. Take the projections from O1 to O1 dash. You call this point as O1 dash, and you join this axis line as thin chain line. Okay. So this we have done. So this completes the solution. Thank you for watching.